I bought this brand new set of NKB cylinder heads off Marketplace for $500. I'm going to throw them on my S10 and see how much faster it makes it. Would you look at that? What a real nice surprise. All I can say is it's about time. Alright, the backstory on this trans brake valve body that I ordered from Jake's Performance. I ordered that on January 21st, I believe. I didn't receive it until almost June. So I finally got it in. I dropped it off with my friend Jeremy Perez. He's gonna go through that transmission, install that valve body, and while he's doing just that, I'm gonna go ahead and set the valves on this 350 engine with the Chinese cylinder heads. I bought these lifters from Comp, and they ended up being a short travel lifter. I ended up letting these lifters set in oil overnight. This motor has been setting on the engine stand for 7 months now. The reason I'm just now setting the valves is because I didn't know when my trans brake was going to show up. I didn't want to set the valves and have that much pressure on the valve springs and lifters, not knowing when my trans brake was going to show up to my door. So I hurried up and waited, and when the trans brake showed up, I went ahead and set the valve. Normally when setting the valves on a hydraulic roller cam, I like to put my wrench at the 12 o'clock position and rotate it to the 6 o'clock position, giving the lifter half a turn of preload. With these being a short travel lifter, Comp recommends only putting a quarter turn of preload on the lifter. Once I set all the lifters, I torqued down the lifter retaining plate and started adding oil before putting the intake on. The oil I'm using is a Brad Penn racing oil that is high in zinc. Therefore, it is great for breaking in engines. These valve covers have seen better days. So while I'm waiting on Jeremy to finish up on the transmission, I'm going to go ahead and give these valve covers a quick paint job. Growing up, my dad always painted the motors he built Chevy orange. Now I am cursed with painting every motor I build Chevy orange. I feel like this is my duty to continue this curse and pass it down to my kids. My daughter Lena helped me get these valve covers painted, and they turned out great. This motor is now ready to be installed. And as luck would have it, Jeremy called to let me know that the transmission is ready to be picked up. Today's the day. It leaves the engine building room. So I'm going to get this thing out in the shop. We're going to hook it up to the 4L80E transmission, and we're going to get this thing ready to go in the S10. Oh, look at this. This bearing just came apart. I got this motor that I need to drag all the way on the other end of the shop, so hopefully this thing don't fall or follow me and take off my foot. So one thing I noticed as I was pulling this motor out of the office, I don't think these valve covers are gonna work. This valve cover is on there tight, and that gasket is not sealed, as you can see. That's what you get when you get Chinese stuff, and working on cars never goes as planned. So you got China and cars mixing. I hope I can get these valve covers to work. I put a 3/8 rocker arm stud on these heads because I wanted to run the self-aligning rocker arm. That way I could run these valve covers. I didn't want it to look too performance-y. I just wanted to look very stock and have that stock vortec kind of style look to it. Since we were already rebuilding the transmission and adding the trans brake, I went ahead and had Jeremy throw in an aftermarket billet input shaft. The converter I'm using is a TSI 3500 stall speed converter. I was told this transmission should be able to handle around 1,000 horsepower, but unfortunately for me, my motor will not be making anywhere near that kind of power. With us adding more horsepower to this build, I decided to upgrade the flex plate and balancer to a SFI certified part. Well, I had no intentions of putting this motor in today. I was just gonna get it ready and then have a fresh start for whatever day I wanted to pick to put this thing in. I think I'm gonna go ahead and try stabbing the engine and transmission. I may regret this, but I got some time on my hands still, and I'm gonna try knocking it out. I really need another hand, but I'm gonna still try to send it. I'm still gonna send it.
You guys silly? I'm still gonna send it.
Yikes. I got more than I planned to have done today. I got the motor transmission in. I just planned on having everything ready to go in. I got the motor mount bolts in, cross member bolts in, so I got a good starting point to get this thing back together. So I'm calling it a day. Got the headers on. Now I need to get under there and hook up the collector. If you ever owned a S10 with shorty headers, you know how much of a pain in the ass this is. I'm gonna get under here and probably spend the rest of the afternoon getting this done. I got the headers and the exhaust hooked up. That was a pain in the butt. Now I'm trying to figure out on these valve covers. I think what's happening is the valve cover is not able to seal and it's hitting that. You kind of already see the scratches where it's hitting. I think it's hitting right along the edge there. So I'm going to cut that, bend it down, and hopefully it won't leak. I'm no fabricator, so this probably won't be too pretty, but it should work. Stick around. Beautiful. Finished product. Like I said, I'm no fabricator. It did bow out the ends when I folded it. I can live with that. I just didn't want to buy aftermarket valve covers. I like that stock look, as I've told you earlier, so I'm happy this is gonna work. Well, the first one went good, but the second one, I don't know what happened. I started to fold it in and it just went south real quick. I think that's gonna leak. So I am on to plan B and getting another set of valve covers because I don't feel like messing with this. I'm just gonna get some that will fit this. I don't want to cut on stuff. It's kind of frustrating, but I think that's what you get when you're dealing with China. I'm glad I caught it before I started the engine because that would have sucked. I knew I was gonna run the stock valve cover. I would have went with a different rocker arm. I would have went with the 7/16, not the self-aligning rocker arm. I would have went with the 7/16 stud. That way there'd been less flex in the valve train. It's a little frustrating. It'll work, but it's one of those deals you live and learn. So I'm gonna find me a set of valve covers and go a different route. For now, I'm gonna put the front drive accessories on, and I'm sure Everett's gonna help me. All right, I'm calling it a day. I got a lot done on this just for the couple hours I had. I got my two little ones up here. They're driving me nuts. I got a buddy that's gonna sell me some valve covers. Hopefully I'll get some time tomorrow to work on this thing. I'd like to have it running this weekend or maybe before the weekend would be awesome. Still need to test the Camaro. It's finally stopped raining, so I should have probably went and tested it today, but I had my kids up here. So I'm going to probably do that tomorrow, if not Friday. I'm going home, take a shower. I will see you tomorrow. I picked these up from a buddy of mine. It's not really my style. I don't hate them, but I don't love them, but they'll work. What I think I'm gonna end up doing is swap out the valve covers on the Camaro. So I'll put the black ones on here and then pull these valve covers off and put on the S10. I think it'll just look better for what I'm trying to do with the S10. The Camaro can look more race car. If I had more money, I would just buy the same valve covers I have on the Camaro, but I'm on a budget, so I'm just gonna make this work. Got the front accessories on. Yeah, those black valve covers make it look like a dang race car. A race car with AC. I went to put this valve cover on and it hits the heater box. So I'm moving on to plan C, and that is the original plan. I'm going to cut that groove out of the valve cover and just hope it works and doesn't leak. I got another set of valve covers over here on another engine. I'm gonna pull this valve cover off, paint it. Hopefully it doesn't leak. We'll see what happens. Got the cutting done. Now I'm gonna start sanding it. Got it all sanded down. Gonna clean it real good and hit it with some paint. Let's try this again, round 2. Alrighty, she's dry and ready to go on. Don't that look so much better with those valve covers? I mean, I just love the orange too. It just makes it pop. One thing that does concern me about these Chinese heads is how close the spark plug is to the header. There's one plug that is freaking 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch away. I don't know how well it's gonna work. I'm sure we're gonna be melting boots. I'll probably end up taking this header off and taking it to my buddy Aaron, who's actually a real fabricator and welder. I mean, look at that. It's so close. So close. I don't like it, but it is what it is. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure we'll melt some plug wires. Alrighty, we're gonna prime this thing, steal the carburetor off the Camaro and slap on this because I'm too cheap to buy another carburetor. And normally they don't run at the same time. So kind of just always works out. But I need to put the Camaro carburetor on here and just go E85 on the Camaro. That way I can race True Street. But that's like, you know, after a fuel system and everything, that's like $1,500. So anyways, we're gonna prime it, put the carburetor on it, and cross your fingers, hopefully this thing starts. My DeWalt battery is dead, so that's all the priming we're gonna get to do. That's the only battery I got. You youngins that don't know what a distributor is, I got the balancer set at 36 degrees. I got the cap marked, and I drilled a hole so I can see where that's gonna set. So it wants to be right there. You see that mark, how it lines up on the rotor? That would be 36 degrees if life is perfect, which it is. You youngins with that fuel injection, y'all don't know about this. This is old school. Ask your grandpa. Plug wires look like booty. I'll probably end up switching those, but they'll work for now just to start it up. Gonna pull the carburetor off the Camaro, slap on there just to start it, and we'll see if it starts. All right, I think everything's hooked up. I did a once over on everything. You never know until you try. Hopefully the timing's right after I just showed y'all that little trick. Wow. Well, timing's off somewhere. When it backfires to the carburetor, you know it's not right. I set the timing on this thing like I had a crank trigger, so I'm gonna put the timing light to it. China never sounded so good. Look at that. Boy, howdy, all the oil pressure. Sounds pretty good. Well, it's alive. Just like any time you start your first engine, you got an exhaust leak and some minor things that you need to address. I think there's an air pocket in the cooling system, so I need to get that addressed. I need to rob the front wheels off the Camaro, put on this thing, and we can go on a test drive. Hopefully it'll drive fine, especially with the new transmission. We'll be making passes before we know it. And no leaks on the valve covers. No leaks. Valve covers aren't leaking, so that's a plus. Just know if you buy these heads that you're going to have to cut on the valve covers to make it work. So far so good. It's probably only ran 10 minutes though. Alright, I'm going on my first test drive. I'm going hoodless because I don't have any help getting the hood on. So for right now, just going on a quick test drive, make sure everything feels sound, and see how it does. Alright, here we go. Holy cow. This thing has 90 pounds of oil pressure. I probably need to pull this oil out. I got 2050 in it right now. I probably need to put a 10W30 or 10W40 in it. That may be a little too thick. But it's got oil pressure. I can't be mad about that. Transmission shifts really good. I'm happy with it so far. Yeah, shifts really good. Good firm. Before it was kind of lazy, but there was nothing done to it. Yeah, this has the new valve body with the trans brake, so this thing should handle some power actually. And it should be a little bit faster in the 60 foot, I would think, going to a trans brake. Definitely will have a better reaction time. Still a turd, needs some nitrous. One thing I don't like about this trans brake is you have to hold the trans brake down when you're in reverse. It's very race car-y. I think it's stupid. My Rossler transmission in my Camaro, I don't have to do that. You wouldn't think that you would have to have the trans brake engaged while in reverse. This is stupid. You'd think there'd be a way around it. Which I know you can wire it to your reverse lights and all that stupid stuff, but if you're like me, still running a carburetor, I can't really do that. I can do it, but I don't like the idea of it because these D&M shifters, they're not the best. I don't want to grab the trans brake while in a pass because you can kind of be violent with it. You can hit the reverse light signal on, and God, I don't want to hit the trans brake while I'm trying to race or just out driving. That doesn't sound too fun. But we went on our first test drive. Everything went good. We made it back. That's a plus. Just like any time when you get something running, it needs some small things adjusted. I'm going to do those small things. Probably go rip on it some. I'll probably take it to the track and see how much faster it is with these heads. I think it should pick up quite a bit. I mean, we lost 40 pounds off the front end. I mean, we're going from a 170cc intake runner to a 200cc. So, I mean, that's quite a bit. And these flow a whole lot better than the Vortec head. Maybe it'll go slower. I don't know. The fastest I've been in this truck was a 1090. That was with Vortec heads and foot braking it. So let me know in the comments how much faster you think this truck will be with the Chinese cylinder heads. You don't want to miss out on how much this truck picks up with these new Chinese cylinder heads. So be sure to subscribe, like, leave a comment. If you like this video, go check out my channel. There's other videos like this one. There's other videos of us racing my Camaro, the S10, building engines. Go check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next video.